Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today on Outer Limitless Blades with a knife review that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. Today we're taking a look at Olive Knives. This is their Arbor, their first offering to the knife market, a fixed blade and a good quality belt/camp knife. Very much looking forward to this. If you've been watching YouTube, social media, different channels, in the past number of months, you've probably seen a good amount of footage covering the Arbor. This is getting some nice press. It's getting some real great feedback. A little bit mixed simply from the standpoint that, well, this is going to be and I guess I'd put it in the category of buy once, cry once type of item. It is expensive, but like most things, you get what you pay for. Excellent craftsmanship, a combination of some European, some South African, and some USA materials and manufacturing. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds and all worlds here. So a very cool product, and again, something I am very much looking forward to. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Olive Knives who did provide this for review. And if you like what you see here, look in the description box below where I will provide all of the relevant links for where you can find your own Olive Knives Arbor. And they actually have a couple of other models that are in the works and coming out right now. So the brand is growing, the lineup is expanding, but again here with the Arbor, the very first knife in their collection. Now, you can see here, very nice branding, and I'm going to talk about branding just a little bit because that's going to be important for a new knife company. This video here being first look, first impressions, and kind of getting used to the brand, getting comfortable with the brand, and then in the future, much more to come. This will be a small little mini series, so to speak. But as you take a look, first off, I like the way the box looks. I like the fact that there's sort of this forest scene. So we should be seeing knives that are outdoor, hard use, capable for fire prep, woods prep, camping, your outdoor cooking tasks, things that just need a good quality knife for the outdoors. The box kind of having that vibe. And as you look at their slogans and mottos, use the inside to live confidently outside. Now, I don't know if they mean inside the house. I think they're probably saying inside the box, because if you use what's inside the box to live confidently outside, that should absolutely be the case here, and we will figure that out. Outplay, outlast, outlive. Well, you should be having fun outside, and if you need your knife for a survival situation, you're going to have to outlast your scenario and the elements, and you are going to have to outlive the situation. So, very cool. Inside here, the actual box. So you can see, I was thinking that this box here was the actual box, but that's just their shipping box. So that's pretty cool. And I like the fact that everything is super tight, super tidy, and just a clean presentation. Olive Knives. Here you go, and you'll see that this particular version in the dark gray, there are a couple of different colorways here, and the black, I think most people have probably been showing. I wanted to have the gray, have a little bit of pop and a little bit difference in color for the camera. Right away, beautiful presentation, extremely high quality photograph, and just quality production. I mean, you can see here, they have paid for real nice printing, real nice photography, and just an extremely clean presentation. This stuff is not cheap. So, you can start to see a little bit why, this brand commands a little bit of a higher price. And you could say, well, I don't need all that packaging and I don't care. I only want the product. I get that. But here, some camping recipes, just really neat and thinking about their product, the presentation, lots of stickers here. I mean, good amount of stickers. Again, nice branding. This one here is pretty cool. Olive Knives out there. And these more kind of for like a vehicle. These are awesome, awesome decals. Extremely nice, high quality. These would look fantastic on a white truck. If I only knew somebody who had a white truck. But what we're really here for, the knife itself, again, this model being the Arbor. And I will give you the reported specifications, but then I'll probably take some measurements myself. The first thing you need to know, the materials. LMAX, so Bowler steel. LMAX, that is European steel. Very high quality steel with excellent edge retention, moderate or modest field sharpenability, corrosion resistance, and just an awesome overall capable steel for an outdoor knife. On the handle scales, G10, which here you can see the alternating black and gray. Very nice. Large, oversized tubes, these tube style pins holding the handle together, so that's extremely robust construction. And then beyond all of that, not only does it have the tubes, but they have been flared and fluted to really press all of this together, but give it an extremely high quality and finished look. Now, running through this based upon the reported specifications, the overall length, 9.27 inches, the blade length, 4.54 inches, the blade thickness, 0.177, which is pretty darn close to 3/16, a little bit thinner there. So it's thicker than your 5/32, which is like 0.15, but it is also thinner than your 3/16, which is like between 0.18 and 0.19. So 0.177, the handle thickness at its widest point, 0.847 inches. Now, here's where things get interesting, and this is where a lot of that publicity has come into play. And this is something that, for me, is as intriguing of a design element as it is an experiment for me to actually try something new in the knife world, which does not happen all that often. Which, as you take a look at the grind itself, so a high saber grind, you can see here the flat stock coming down to a 2/3 height, or maybe more like a 3/4, somewhere in between, saber grind, but it's your primary bevel. That is not just a primary bevel, but it's what's called the Fibonacci grind. So this is a proprietary grind that Olive uses on this model called the Fibonacci grind. And as I rotate the knife and reflect the light off of it, you can see the different angles. That is obviously intentional, but what it is in essence is they've taken the flat stock, changed the angle of the grinder, gone down a little bit, changed the angle of the grinder, go down a little bit, all the way down until you get to that secondary bevel. Nicely polished, beautifully done, all the way from the ricasso, which a very subtle and minor ricasso, just barely peeking past those handle scales, but sharpened beautifully all the way up to the tip. Just a real nice job, polished, very keen, and even on that edge all the way along. And so right away, we see a company that is absolutely paying attention to all of the details, like every single one, which is what you want. But more than anything, trying to invent a little bit, trying to be different, trying to sort of blaze their own trail. And that's just refreshing in a place where we've seen so many kind of repeats. And this, again, just very refreshing. Now let's get into the handle just a little bit here. You can see a generous handle. I have a large size hand, and being able to grip the knife wonderfully. Not only does this index extremely well between my index finger and my pinky, nice palm swell through the middle, in height and in profile, very comfortable. But notice where my thumb lands, right on top. That spine is perfectly crowned so that before you get into a sharpened 90-degree angle, which is going to allow you to do some excellent scraping and rip on a ferro rod, well, you're not going to tear up your thumb. Your thumb's going to land perfectly right on that crowned section and just be comfortable for those controlled carving tasks. And not only that, but you absolutely have that detail around the entire tang of the knife. Up against the scales, perfectly rounded, contoured, just rounded nicely. Down underneath in all of the touch points, wonderfully softened, rounded. This really, really resonates with me. That is exactly how I personally try to design, with real soft edges, rounding everything out. And this just screams attention to detail, literally second to none. It's really impressive when you get this knife in your hands. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews, I've watched a lot of reviews, I've heard a lot of people say it, and what they will tend to say is, you kind of need to see it to believe it. I agree with that statement entirely. Here, nice branding, LMAX, the Arbor, olive knives on both sides, super clean, just so wonderfully nice. And I'm not going to say that all of that would be for naught if it didn't have a good carry system, but we all know that a carry system can make or break your user's experience, and Olive is also paying attention to the details in their sheath. Nice quality kydex, excellent rivets. I will double check that these are industry standard, 3/4 inches between center to center, and annotate below. So that should give you the ability to add additional accessories or change up your carry mounting system depending on your needs and your like. Now, some people don't necessarily like a little nylon webbing carry capability. I don't mind it at all for a knife in this size class because it's not going to be overly heavy, and this is going to be robust. It's sort of temperature neutral. It doesn't care about warm, doesn't care about cold. It's going to be robust and, durable enough. You can lash this with straps to a pack, so it's versatile enough. And the way that they step this off with this little kydex spacer steps it off, buys you the space that you need. So execution, very good. Not to mention, on top of all of that, well, you do also have the ability to tighten up on a retention screw in case you want to dial in that retention just a little bit. But my initial impression here, as we set the knife, that is firm but fair. And man, I would say virtually no way that is going to come out, and that's without even touching this. So do they dial this in ahead of time to make sure that it comes to you ready to rock and roll and with that perfect fit? Yup, pretty much they do. So, well, that's Olive, just paying attention to more details. I'm not going to get sick of that. That is just awesome. Really, really nicely done. Now, just some final details. You can push off like a little ramp here. So that makes deployment of the knife extremely safe, repeatable result. You're not yanking on it to get it out of the sheath, which is awesome. Drop point design here on this with the LMAX being heat treated to 60 to 61.5 HRC. Most companies usually thinking about 2 HRC plus or minus is going to be a reasonable tolerance. Looks like Olive trying to tighten up that tolerance even more to a 60 to 61.5 HRC. This particular knife here should be weighing in right around 9.14 ounces, and that is without the sheath. Adding the sheath in here, total weight, total package, you're looking at right around 12 ounces. So again, very light overall. I'm not going to say extremely light, but I'm going to say rugged, robust, and a good quality belt knife. The blade has been stone washed, very nice, extremely nicely done. Has a little bit of a, that polished look, but just super, super clean. And last but not least, what I always love is when the pommel end is just perfectly rounded out. Excellent lanyard hole, nice and generous in the perfect spot. Not too high, not too low, just exposed in the tang there, but again, perfectly crowned. And then the ability to get your thumb over the top, indexing with this generous indexing choil, getting my hand on there, reverse grip. This will be able to do some really quality stabbing without feeling like you're going to run down that Fibonacci grind and tear up your hand for a full 4.54 inches. And so there's no doubt that Olive Knives means business, and they are building serious equipment. This is not only serious equipment, but it's just seriously nice. And if you want something that's going to be a performer, well, I'm going to have to find out. But I've seen other reviews. I know this is going to perform. Having this in my hands, I can feel that this is going to perform. I'm really excited to get this out for that field use. Check out that Fibonacci grind. See how it is to work through material, different types of materials, utility tasks, general camp tasks, fire prep, food prep, all the things that we need from a good quality camp knife. Now, handling this just a little bit, already starting to feel like it's going to be a natural extension to my ability to do work, know where that blade edge is. It's just a nice quality knife. It's beyond nice. It is absolutely phenomenal and impressive. So again, to the people at Olive Knives, thank you so much for providing this for review. For the rest of you, look in the description box below, find the relevant links, take a look at this for yourself. This is not cheap, but again, something that I think you are going to absolutely get what you pay for. In the future, I'll be doing all of my field testing, and so thanks again, guys. Keep an eye out. I appreciate it. Check out my Outer Limitless family of channels where I cover everything from my outdoor hiking adventures, gear, knives, firearms, lighting, you name it. That's the Outer Limitless family of channels. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.